My dear 5th grade children, how are you, ma? Good morning to all. Are you fine? So be happy and be stay in your home. Okay? Okay, fine. Welcome back to online class. Okay, fine, ma. It is start to study social subject. Okay. Do you interest to study social? Okay, fine. Very good, ma. Okay. Now we are studying the lesson 4. What's the title of this lesson? Okay, you know very well. Okay, anyone say that? Yeah, that is major temperature zones of this year. That is continuation of this lesson. Can you clear it? Okay. Very fine, ma. Now see here. What is the major temperature zones of this earth? In this previous class we learned, isn't it? So, what is zone? What's that spelling? ZONE. Now I recall this. Okay, the previous portion I recall. Can you remember? What is zone? Okay, zone means an area that is different from those around it for. What is zone, ma? That is a particular area that is different from those around it for. So, for example, how to say? That is something special happens there. What's more? Something special happens there. Yeah, we already learned 3 types of temperature zones. The different temperature zones are called heat zones, isn't it? We already learned temperature zones. So, what is zones means? That is, each zone have some special, some characteristic features, isn't it? Some special characteristic features. So, each zone is differs to other zone. Thus we know, isn't it? Okay. Can you clear it now? What's this zone? Can you clear it? That is something special to particular zone. Okay. Each zone is differs from others. Can you clear it? Okay. Okay. Very fine. Now listen here. So now I recall the previous portion. Okay. Okay. Very good. Now listen carefully. Now listen here. What is heat zones? Do you know what is heat zone? The different temperature zones are also called heat zone. Totally, heat zones means what? Heat zone. Okay, the different temperature. From this lesson we studied different temperature zone. What is that? Yeah, that is torrid zone. Second one, temperate zone and frigid zone. Do you know, ma? These 3 zones are called heat zones. Heat, H-E-A-T, heat zone. Okay? This point, can you clear it? The different temperature zones are also called heat zones. Can you clear it? Okay. Then, this heat in each of the zone depends on how far it is from this equator. That is also very important. this heat in each of these zones depends on how far it is from the equator. Can you clear it? Because now listen here, the temperature zones near the equator are the hottest. As we move away from the equator, far away from the equator, the temperature zones becomes cooler. That is, we already learned. Can you remember? Okay, fine. Now see here, the coldest temperature zones are where it lies. The coldest temperature zones, yeah, very good, it lies near the poles. The hottest temperature zones is near the equator. Can you clear it? Okay. These climatic temperature zones has an effect on natural vegetation as well as the animal life of the zone. So only this zone, each zone has some special characteristic features, and these characteristic features or differs from other zone. Characteristic features means what, ma? That is animal life and natural vegetation, climate, and what's the condition of people. That is the characteristic features of each zone. It differs from other zone. Okay, each zone has some special characteristic features. Not for all the zones have not same characteristic feature because different climate. Can you clear it? Okay. Yes, we already in the previous class we learned what is torrid zone and what's the temperate zone, isn't it? What's the spelling of temperate? TEMPERATE, temperate zone, not temperature, temperate zone. Can you clear it, ma? Okay. Okay, now listen here, ma. What is torrid zone? It is very hot. This torrid zone means very hot, or anyway it is hot zone only. That is torrid means TORRID. Torrid means it is very hot. Can you clear it? Then where is this zone lies? It lies between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Can you clear it? I recall this last class portions. Okay, ma. So this torrid zones lies between, torrid zone means a hot zone. It lies between Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. That's the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Do you know? That is the first set of special latitude. Okay, ma? Okay, fine. Then, next, the temperate zone. What's the climate? That is neither too hot nor too cold. What's the meaning that? I already told that. What's the meaning of neither too hot nor too cold? Can you remember? Yeah, very good, ma. That is, it is moderate temperature. It is mild temperature, not so extreme cold. No, it is a moderate or mild. Can you clear it? This zone lies between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere. Okay, first this torrid zone lies between from the equator to Tropic of Cancer and equator to Tropic of Capricorn. That is a first special set of latitude. Okay, clear it? Now second, the temperate zone means these zones lies between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle. So it is lies between the second special latitude. Okay, Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere, and same respectively Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere. Can you clear it, ma? Okay. Then third is frigid zone. Frigid means you can remember the fridge. It is very cold zone. Where it is lies, this zone lies from the Arctic Circle to the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and the Antarctic Circle to the South Pole in the southern hemisphere. Can you clear it, Mark? This is the three types of zone. Any doubt for you? This is previous class portion. I recall only. Okay. Do you understand these three zones? And we study the features of this torrid zone. That is two regions there, equatorial regions and tropical regions. These equatorial regions lies between the parts of Africa, South America and Southeast Asia. Like the same tropical regions, that is Indian subcontinents and other parts of Southeast Asia. This is the characteristic features of the torrid zone, and we study that hot deserts and tropical grasslands. Okay, can you clear it? Okay, then we already learned the temperate zone elaborately. That is, this zone includes all the continents except Antarctica. What is temperate means? What's the temperate? Temperate means neither too hot nor too cold, isn't it? That is, what's the meaning, ma? Yeah, you know very well. Neither too hot nor too cold means it is a moderate, it is a mild. It is opposite to the extreme. Can you clear it, ma? Okay, fine, ma. Okay, then we study the features of the temperate zone. What's the climate, what's the natural vegetation and animal life and people. Can you clear it? Okay. Climate also, it is warmer near the tropics in both hemisphere, colder, that is moderate, mild temperature only. Animals also, we study that hibernation and migration to avoid extreme heat and extreme cold. And natural vegetation. What is natural vegetation? You know that point? Yeah, the vegetation grown by nature. No, anyone planted these trees or planted this vegetation. Okay, this is grown by natural, not by people. So it is called natural vegetation. Can you clear it, ma? So that is also grassland, deciduous forest. That's we studied in the previous class. And people, what type of people? That is mostly farming and nomadic peoples also we learnt. Okay, then now we see that elaborately the frigid zone. That is today's portion. Okay. Okay. Now listen carefully. What is frigid zone? You know, frigid means it is very cool. Where it lies? This zone lies where? Near the poles. So it is very extreme heat or cold? Yeah, very good. It's very cold. This northern frigid zone includes the northern parts of Asia, Europe, North America, and the frozen areas to the north. So, this northern frigid zone includes the northern parts of Asia. Can you clear it more? This northern poles, it includes that part, that it includes the northern parts of Asia, Europe, North America, and the frozen areas to the north. At the same time, Antarctica lies in the southern frigid zone. Antarctica lies in the southern frigid zone. The regions around the poles in frigid zones are permanently frozen. The poles in frigid zones are permanently frozen because it is very coldest places. Near the poles means very coldest. So it is always frozen in both hemispheres. Okay, these spots of frigid zone are called polar ice caps. Okay, can you clear it now? Now listen here. The regions around the poles in frigid zones are permanently, not for any season. Summer season, winter season, no. All the seasons, permanently, it is frozen. Freezer, can you see that? So, like it is frozen. In both hemisphere, it is frozen. So, in these spots of frigid zones are called polar ice caps. Ice caps, okay ma? So, these spots of frigid zone are called polar ice caps, CPS caps. The region around the North Pole is frozen water, whereas in the South Pole it is frozen land. Yes, northern side it is frozen water. At the same time, the South Pole it is frozen the land, that is Antarctica, that is frozen. Antarctica is called the frozen continent. Can you clear it? This Antarctica is the frozen continent. Northern side, the part of Asia, Europe, North America, and these are the northern frozen areas. That is in the north side. Like the south, that is Antarctica. This Antarctica is a frozen continent. It is always ice here. Can you clear it? So, now we study that. What is frigid zone? Can you clear it, ma? Frigid zone means it includes the northern parts. Then southern means Antarctica lies in the southern frigid zone. The regions around the poles is frigid. Frigid means very coldest zone or permanently frozen. It's permanently frozen only in both hemisphere. So these parts of frigid zone are called. This part of frigid zone are called what ma? Polar ice caps. So these two, northern and south, these frozen parts are called polar ice caps. The region around the North Pole is frozen water, whereas the South Pole is frozen land. North, that is a frozen water, and south it is a frozen land. Antarctica is called the frozen continent. It is always icy ice. Okay. Now we see that features of the frigid zone. That's we already seen that. What means each zone have some special characters. Each zone, this special character is different from the other zones. Not for all three zones, not for same characteristic features because the climate is changes. So people and vegetation and animal life and climate, everything changes. Can you clear it? So now we study that features of frigid zone. Another characteristic of frigid zone. First of all, we see that climate. What's the climate here? This we know. Okay, anyone point you say? Yeah, very good. Extremely cold, mostly frozen water. Okay, extremely cold. Extremely means what, ma? Too. What's the spell? T-O-O. Too cold. Extremely cold. Mostly frozen water. Then strong winds and blizzards. What is the blizzard? That is snowstorms in winter. Snowstorms. Oh, see how much coldest near the poles. The storm is snowstorms. Small belt of melted snow in summer. Small belt of melted snow in summer in some parts of Europe, Asia and North America. Okay. Then what about the southern hemisphere? Completely frozen throughout the year. This place is completely frozen. But in the northern side, sometimes small belt of melted snow in summer season. In summer season, small, how much it is? Small belt of melted snow in summer season in some parts of where? Europe, Asia and North America. But in the same time, what about the southern hemisphere? It's completely frozen. It always freezes throughout the year. If it is summer season also. Cold, windy and dry with hardly any new snowfall. Here, cold, windy and dry with hardly any new snowfall here. This is the climate. It is the very coldest, extreme coldest. It is always frozen. It is always freeze, that condition. Okay, can you clear it? Then we see that natural vegetation grown by naturally, not at all any people, not at all grown any vegetation, that is called natural vegetation. Can you see that? Okay, now listen here. In northern hemisphere, what type of natural vegetation? At the same time, southern hemisphere, what type of vegetation? That's we will see here. What about northern hemisphere? Very difficult for plant life as ground is frozen almost throughout the year. Here, very difficult to plant life in ground because it is always all the parts very freeze in condition only. Then how these plants grow? But mainly some dormant plants. Here, that is moss, lichen, berry-bearing plants, small trees and bushes during summer called tundra vegetation. But here, very dormant plants only. That is what? Moss, lichen, example, berry-bearing plants, small trees and bushes during summer. And what type of vegetation here? Tundra vegetation. Okay. At the same time, southern hemisphere, what happened? Does not support plant life as land is either frozen or barren rock. But in the southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere, some dormant plants, vegetation also, tundra vegetation, some plants, dwarf plants have. But in southern hemisphere, does not support for plant life. This climate is not allowed to growing of plants because it is all the time freeze or barren rock. So no plant life. Very small pods that are sheltered from the wind have dundra vegetation. Very small pods, some very small pod, dundra vegetation have, but mostly freeze and not support for plant life. Can you clear it more? This is the natural vegetation. Then we see that animal life. What's the animal life here? That is northern hemisphere, land and sea mammals. Sea mammals, that is polar bear, fish eating. Polar bear, that is fish eating. Reindeer, that is mouse eating, and walrus, arctic hares. These are the animals we see that. Birds, butterflies, mosquitoes, and block flies in summer. No reptiles that. See the important point, no reptiles. But mosquitoes there, black flies in summer, birds, butterflies, but no reptiles. Keep the point. Then, what about the southern hemisphere? Sea animals, that is elephant, seal, and different kinds of whales. Mostly sea animals because Antarctica. This place is Antarctica, so mostly sea animals. We can say that. Then migratory seabirds, that is albatross, betrels, terns, and cormorants. These are the some of the migratory. What is the meaning of migration? Do you know? Yes, the movement of birds from one place to another place to avoid extreme heat or cold. Yeah, very good. Extreme heat, to avoid extreme heat. Can you clear it? Okay. Then penguins are the region's best known birds. Here, flightless birds, let's say penguins. These are seen the animal life in the frigid zone. Then what about people, ma? That is very important now. Yeah, now listen here. People live only in the coastal regions. Yeah, people live in the coastal regions only, not in the poles. Chief occupation or hunting and fishing. People live off animal products. Now listen here. Then traditional life of the people are changed to southern hemisphere. This traditional life is changed from the southern hemisphere. That is, we know northern hemisphere one type of tradition. At the same time, tradition is changed from the southern hemisphere. No permanent southern hemisphere. What about no permanent settles? Southern hemisphere is so freeze and no permanent settles. Only tourist and scientific researchers. Only people here have. Only tourist and scientific researchers. Many countries, including India, have their stations here to study the nether and natural resources. Many countries, including India also, used for researchers purpose only. Okay, these are the people. What type of people and what's the condition of people in their places. Okay, then we see that effect of human activity. Okay, ma, that's we will continue next class. Then next class onwards I will give the revision, so you copy it all the notes. Okay, fine, study well. Okay, goodbye, we will see next class.